Everyone is welcome here, it's time to make new friends. Aquavide Uskaval, fill your Glencairn. Share a dram with the spirit of Edmonton. Luncha!
Good evening, Whiskey Brothers, Whiskey Sisters, and Whiskey Friends, and welcome to episode 42 of the Canadian Whisky Journey's Whiskey Review. My name's Dolph. I'm your host tonight, and I'm here with this fine gentleman there. That's Blair. He is the co-author to this book right here, The Definitive Guide to Canadian Distilleries. And you know what? Mother's Day is coming up this weekend. Don't forget about your mamas. Buy her the book and bring her to a couple distilleries and have them sign it for mom. I think that'd be a good idea. What'd you say? I think that's a good idea. Blair,
you could quickly ruin Mother's Day if you didn't buy that book, by the way.
I think it'd be a perfect idea. Well, you could do the flowers on the side if you want, but I think flowers with that in front, that'd be the way to go. Blair, what are we continuing our Canadian Whisky Journey with tonight, kind sir?
We are sampling this one from Willibald's Distillery in Ontario. It's their first whiskey release, Greenhorn.
And it's got some pretty nice color to it, too. Now,
crazy color.
You've been to the distillery, which kind of leads to the whole theme of bringing mom to the distillery. So if you're in Ontario, and there's a few people out there in Ontario, buy the book, bring them to this distillery, which is open on the weekend, I think. Hold on one sec. Here, I got this on there. Does it have the time on it? No, I don't have the time. Usually it's the time.
They're open on the weekends. It's a great spot to bring your mom for dinner or lunch or whatever.
And I didn't mention it, but you might as well talk about the distillery a little bit and the two brothers and the other owner, the three owners.
Yeah, Cam. So it's Cam, Nolan, and Jordan. Jordan and Nolan are brothers, and Cam is a friend from university. They decided to open a distillery out of university, and it's kind of funny because I thought they were always a gin distillery when I first heard about them because their first product was a gin, an aged gin, but the real reason why they opened a distillery is because they're really into big, bold whiskeys, and that was their direction the whole time, was getting whiskey out like this, and in the meantime having a big, bold aged gin to get them through that first 4 or 5 years.
And we've had that before. We love that gin. We actually did. We talked about that gin, not just that one. We did the gingerbread gin. And thank you, Brad, for the information. They are open the weekend, he says, just around the corner. So it's good to have the information people around. Thank you.
It's a great spot. It's kind of funny because when I was researching the book with Davin, this was my territory to go research, and we split off to go in different directions. And I had to hit up, I think it was 6 or 7 distilleries in one day. And Willibald's happened to be the last distillery of the day. Okay. I was kind of burnt out from driving around to all these places because I got started at something like 5:30 in the morning. But the energy there is so fantastic that, it woke me up. It was amazing. Yeah.
So it's a worthwhile place to go. And you know what? Let's just I don't have the pictures online because on the Instagram they have several pictures. There's the bottle we're talking about, and that's them with their biggest distillery release announcement because they did want to do whiskey from the onset, they said. And this is the first whiskey to come out. It was 500 bottles of this. We said 59.1%, 750 mils. Roughly less than $100, mostly sold out at the distillery, some online, and 4 years in virgin oak, and you can tell, and we'll talk about that on the flavor in a bit, the virgin oak, but I don't know how long it was in the Colombian rum barrels for.
No, I'm not sure how long they finished it for, but the reason why they finished it was that this is a really high rye mash bill. I think it's around 51, 52%. I can't remember the exact numbers.
51 rye, 37 corn, and 12 malted barley.
Yeah, and they call this their birthday bash. This was Nolan developed this mash recipe on his birthday. Okay. It was not too long before I visited, and I got a sneak peek of some of their whiskey back then. But I can't remember what I was going to say.
It's my fault.
Yeah. they have this birthday mash they made into a whiskey, and I lost my train of thought. And that's what will happen.
I'll try to bring you back. Why did they put it in the rum barrels?
And so it was a really they're out to make aggressive, bold, big, smacky in the face whiskey, and they found that the rye spices were a bit too dry and hot, and they wanted to round those off by introducing some sweet elements to try to get a bit more balance into that bold profile. So that's what they did. They finished it in Colombian rum casks for unspecified amount of time.
And that's what I'm getting on the nose is the influence of the rum right away. And maybe
the longer you let it breathe, that more of that rum and that sweetness is going to come in to round out those big, huge, bold spices.
And I'm not talking about the rum, the molasses rum. This is like a plantain rum. It's a little bit more. All right. So on the nose, I get that. You get the sweetness. And mine's been open for about 45 minutes. I poured this. So it's been sitting here for a bit. I think the longer I hold it in my hand, though, the more it's going to change as well.
Yeah.
And vanilla, but you always say vanilla, but I am getting vanilla. But I'm wondering if it's the rum influence or if it's the cask. Can you tell the difference?
I'm not sure. I'm going to assume that there is going to be vanilla in their whiskey because of the new oak, but I get this like sort of that dry cocoa note.
Okay.
And at one time I was getting a lot of maple off this. That's now gone, and there was a citrus resininess to it that I'm starting to detect in a lot of high rye mash bills in Canada, which is really cool to see.
It is. It's becoming a bit distinctive. We talked about that last week. And no, I think
then you're getting the caramelized maple sugars and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I didn't get information on the char of the barrels, and I didn't inquire soon enough. I did that kind of as a last minute. I couldn't remember. So we do know it's American virgin oak, but I don't know what the char level is. I would have said higher, but maybe not. It doesn't have to be all that high with a color like that after 4 years. And 4 years here in virgin oak, it's going to give you that color anyway. So without being a heavy char. All right, on the palate, and I didn't put water in it. I know it's 59.1, and I don't know if this was the cask strength or they played with this to try to get it to what they think was the appropriate strength. But
they proved it down to what they wanted to achieve flavor wise.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, and the other thing, and you see it more and more often with the smaller distilleries using the mash bill as opposed to the traditional Canadian marrying of the cask later. I think that has an effect on the rye, and the rye coming out just a little bit more like that. They can't control it, but I don't think they want to control it. I think they want it to be right out there with you.
Yeah, I think for their first release, they really wanted to get the ball rolling with something like this, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see other expressions rolled out of there, including some blends and that kind of thing.
Okay, well, I need to have some in the future. All right, I'm liking it. On the palate, apart from really oily, this is great. Nice mouthfeel. Yeah. It's enticing, and it tames the 59.1 of a young whiskey really well. So that's a nice mouthfeel.
There's a wallop of wood that I get from this.
Yeah, but you can get beyond it fairly soon, though. It doesn't just stay wood continually.
No, that's something that really impressed me about this whiskey was that at first, when I first got the bottle, it was a big woody note to it. But now that it's had some time to air out a bit, it's really controlling it. It's big and it's there, but it's not the only thing happening.
Finish. So wood, heat goes to sweet, and then sweeter. It becomes sweeter. Like you taste a little bit of sweet, and the sweet just picks up at the end.
Yeah, with some like dark fruits and just a little bit of that resin bitterness to it to freshen it up a little.
Good job on the ride, guys. I'm liking it. I enjoy it.
I really like it. I this whiskey has a little bit goes a long way. That's what I love about it.
Well, and you sent me the sample. It was 2 ounces, so that's pretty nice of you. Thank you very much. So I'll be appreciating it for a long time after this. It's sold out now, but we're doing this because I think when they come out with their second iteration, batch number 2, you want to jump on it. And I don't know if they only started with 500 just to see if it would sell out, and they're a little bit apprehensive. But I'm hoping they're going to go into higher numbers.
I think so. It's just a matter of time.
Okay.
They really want to just get a whiskey out this year, or last year, I should say, just before Christmas. They had some ready. I think this is a one-off release. This the Greenhorn brand.
Yep.
So they'll come up with something else, but yeah, no, it's something that I definitely want to give it a spin for sure.
That would have been great, actually. December 11th, this came out. This is kind of a Christmassy rye for me as well, because you get a lot of the Christmassy spices to it. I think this would have went really well, and I would have put this on a rum cake in a second. Yeah. Seriously. That would have been really cool. And since 59.1, it would have come up there just a little bit. Anyways, kind sir, any last thoughts from you before we sign off on this good night?
No, man, it's just fun, bold whiskey.
Yes. But tempered. It's not blow your face off. It's fantastic. It's just a bit of heat, but there's other stuff going on. So if you do have a bottle of this, crack it open. I know if you want to collect it, you might collect it, but try to open that up for people and enjoy it with some friends. Thank you, kind sir. We've had a fantastic another time. I'll see you next Tuesday. And thank you to all our viewers present and future. We shall see you on this future. Cheers to one and all.
Cheers.